For the record, we've also been joined by Mr. Greg Ripps with the Wilson County News. Welcome.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held May the 8th.
A motion by Nana,
I second.
seconded by Fred. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
You're going to abstain, sir?
Abstain?
Yes. Okay, so
Oh, you
one
may.
abstain.
Abstain.
So
So
1,
we
2,
do
3, 4.
4-0-1.
And yes, 1 abstain. All right.
0-1.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Roy. Very well. New business, item 2A, CNA to approve the retail coach contract terms.
So if y'all will turn after the minutes in your packet. For those that aren't aware of retail coaches are recruiting a strategic group that we've hired here with the FEDC on and off, probably on for almost 7 years now. They've been consistently with us for 3 years now. Some of the things that have come out of retail coach in the past history is the Whataburger. They helped bring the Taco Bell here recently. They were a major part in helping us bridge the gap with Starbucks, reignite those talks when Ali came from Burger King, and then here recently with the Petco as well. So we'll kind of go over it, then I'll go to the kind of the handout. So if y'all go to page 1, it just has about the company and who they are. They've been in business for almost 21 years. They work with all the national retail recruitment partners, municipalities, economic development organizations, and developmental firms. I can tell you that in a nutshell, what's been good about Retail Coach is they're able to put the developer, the corporation, and the franchisee all in one room as we move forward. And they have a list of all properties with all the realtors in the area. We shoot all the properties to them. They make a data sheet, properties that are for sale, properties that are taken, and undeveloped properties that we should market and look after or seek after land residents that could benefit their retail growth, not only on 181, but also of downtown Floresville. As we move on, it talks about their clients. Page 3 talks about the list of kind of who they work with as an overview. And you'll see some of the ones that are coming into town, which I'll be able to talk about here in a sec. And then, maybe not, I don't think, not yet. Still gotta have one meeting with the city before I announce that one. And so, one thing that makes them different is they work with everyone from the Texas Economic Development Corporation. They represent us at many different places we're not able to go, which is ICSC, for example. Next week, they're gonna be in Las Vegas to where we're not gonna be there, and I don't have to fly out there and represent the city. They have our data sheet that they hand out. I've already made contact with 2 retail companies that could benefit Floresville in our slippage report that they do for us. So within that, they're set aside, and we'll meet via Zoom. So Kyle and Aaron will be there meeting with them, so they're prepping for their trip to Las Vegas next week. One thing we do really good is we go to Retail Live here in Austin. I think Andy can vouch for it. Ray has gone in the past. Roy has gone to pass the videotape for us. It's like speed dating on steroids. I've never been so tired in 3 hours when you've got to meet over like 40 to 50 people in that time period. So we pick out a good strategic group where they pre-plan meetings, and that's where we met Starbucks at, and bridge those gaps. The scope of work on what they're going to do for us, and analyzing market. When we first started years ago, they would do like a license plate analysis, but now they do what they call a cell phone analysis, and they give us that report. So in that cell phone analysis, it gives us to the moment live trade area. If we wanted to pull the data on who's shopping at Whataburger at 3:30 in the morning, they can pull a report and see what that is. And that really helps us when Burger King, for example, is setting their hours. We pulled a report on when they should open and a suggested time when they should close. So the mobile data and the retail trade area map, which they do for us. And you can see that our trade area map has really changed over the years. Further south to like Falls City, it's not on there, it's just a PowerPoint, but I have the map inside where we have a lot of shoppers come from the Falls City, Kennedy, Carson City area up this way. And then they do a demographic profiling, and like I said, the daytime population, anytime they want. And this gives you an idea of the retail trade area. And then moving forward, which really helps, we have weekly phone calls to identify retailers for recruitment. Sometimes retailers will pop up, like here recently with the restaurant that's going in front of Dollar Tree. Try to make that very clear to the community that, not everyone we seek after comes, but then people hear about us and they come and buy without reaching out to us. So give you a little story about that retailer that came. They came to us and he really liked the town. He bought 2 acres from this group here when we sold to do the fourplexes there on Lone Oak Drive. Purchased from us. He fell in love with the city. You'll see his signs throughout 181 and said, you know what, I really want to bring another phase of what he does. He has restaurants, and I think this is almost his 44th one right in there. I'll get that number identified with him through Mr. Park. And so we decided that he really wanted to put that part of his business here. So he bought that piece of property and then came to us afterwards, and really nice to see that part of the property developed that's been sitting there since, man, I was born. So really helped us with our marketing and branding of our town. Like I said, they hand out the flyers, they make retail feasibility packets that go out, and they have an online retail dashboard and interactive map that we send out with the here and now time as was requested. So for example, I may get a request on traffic counts, so they will work with TxDOT or help us put into place, which we're working on, to get a true traffic count and a truer census, because our census said in the last 10 years the city of Floresville only grew like 722 people, and that's hard to believe since we almost had that many kids just in the school coming in the last 10 years. So
What did they do for branding?
for branding, they brand us with our trade area of our slippages. So one thing we brand ourselves on is traffic counts and sales tax. So the biggest thing, they helped us tell our story was not so much trade area, but traffic counts. So when I first took over this job, everyone was like, oh, we live in a trade area of 52,000 people. If you took Wilson County in a map with like Livonia, Pleasanton, Stockdale, and Pope, there was like around 49,000 people back then in our trade area. Well, they really identified our trade area further south, which put our trade area at 56,000 people. So with the branding of that, the traffic count really helps, because how does a town of back then, with now 7,400 people, have 80,000 cars a day go by there? So they brand our town as to the developer on the sales tax that other entities, for example, Whataburger brings in to a similar store, for example, Taco Bell, right? So when Taco Bell is coming, they'll say, okay, if Whataburger brings in X and you need, say, over $4 million, right? And Taco Bell needs $1.8 million, they brand our town of how they can get to that $1.8 million by having the sales tax, having the branding of our traffic count, and then they also tell the story of our parks. So we talk about the improvement of parks, things we're working on, and then the houses. We make a map of current housing as they want to move here, future housing, and then the schools. So I had a PowerPoint from the school that they had given me, Miss Kathy, and probably need to work on updating that so they can implement our schools. And they work with us. So we made the video with the other company that came in, that not Joy of the Journey, but the previous director. I finished up a project with him whenever they made that video with Andy and all of us. I forgot the name of that company. CGI came in, so they helped us with that.
Did they create this on a community dashboard for us?
Yes, we have that, and I can send you that link so you can get access to it. Yeah, we have a dashboard.
Where is that linked to?
On their site, for their retailers.
Oh, okay.
So it's not on us, it's for them. So when their retailers go to their site, they have our community link of Floresville with retail code.
For businesses and all that too?
Yes. And I can ask them if we can maybe put that link on our website, but that's a link they have in their dashboard within their cluster of retailers.
Okay.
Man,
Yes, sir.
I've heard this name for years, as you well know, off and on. How long were they hired, how far back were they hired this last time?
3 years.
Now, does the cost get any less as we progress? You know, the first year, I would think they have a good job to do all of these, determining retail opportunities, demographics, and so on. Does it get easier for them if they have done this thing before? And every year, you know, we have less, I would think, to do. Not necessarily net less opportunity, but less to do.
No, I don't think they would have less opportunities. The same amount of work that they do to create the data. We actually give them more work every month.
Yeah, it just seems to me like, you know, the first part of the start of a business where they have to do everything, you know, all the mechanics that go to making up what they do would be very intense and
Yes, sir.
lengthy. And then as they progress and just updated every year, it would seem to me there's less work to do.
Yeah, that's
Then
why
how do we measure, you know, how much they've given us for the money we're paying?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next. That's where I'm going to get into. And so they've never upped the fee on us with inflation.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that.
No, you're asking if it goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
no.
Fred, one thing about these guys, and you say, you know, they're easier and easier, but they also bring more and more national change show up here than
Yeah.
ever were. They have the relationships, and the way this deal works with these guys, your national people, they have a broker they work with. They don't fish with everybody. But these guys have the relationships to know which broker is taking care of Arby's, or which broker is taking care of whoever. And that's the importance of it. They have a relationship. First heads up with it. And that's, when you try to cut the corner, it usually doesn't work out well for you.
So,
Well, again, and the reason I'm asking all of these questions, obviously, I haven't been here in a while. And then again, you know, I don't know how much involved we here get into this kind of stuff. You know, we listen to it, but do we ever get a good grasp of what it is and how much it should cost? And then again, as we talked about the last time on the other outfit that we were joining, how do we develop a tool to evaluate the benefits we get? You know, are they still as highly needed and required every year?
yeah, that's why I was going to give you the email that he gave today, the report. So, without publicly saying it, if you just look at the first bullet point on the handout that says Ben Reed on top, the individual paper, did you get it?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
It's loose, it's not in the packet.
Maybe he didn't get, I got it right here.
And I know that Charlie's not here, but I like the little,
I got it.
little ears on the
I
side.
think he was talking and maybe he missed it.
But again, you know, I'm
No, I know.
not trying to make your.
No, no.
I'm just trying to.
We want to ask questions, we don't want it to be rubber stamp.
But after, you know, when you have the increase of traffic counts, the increase of rooftops,
Yeah, well.
then the design is
again,
going after
what I would
different
like
people
for
that
us-
weren't big enough for before,
Well,
and
you
now
know,
we are.
we can't resolve what I don't know right now.
Mhm.
But what I would like to see is some way of being able to assess as we review the contracts as to how much we got from their their contributions, and whether, you know, they continue at the same level every year. And then again, the other question is, what about the company that we hired the last meeting we had? How do they interact, or do they?
No, it's separate, totally separate.
Totally separate.
Yeah, totally separate. So that meeting, that one is this second page I handed you.
And I'm not against, you know, these guys.
Mhm.
I'm just simply, I guess in my mind, can't quite see how it doesn't get less work as we progress.
Well, I can tell you the list, if you look at the list right here on the bottom, for me to contact them, they would most likely either not return an email or not take a phone call. Like Ray did explain, they have their list of brokers. I'll give you an example, Roy can vouch to it. When he introduced us to Will Burge at Starbucks, right? Almost 3 years ago, we went to our first retail live, and it was deer in the headlights for everybody because no one had ever been to it. Because they never took advantage of going to these things. He introduced us, and at that time he was here. I have a meeting set up with Will, Mark Carroll, and Mark Carroll's already identified some land in Floresville, if we could go through this project. And so a lot of it came to it, and it was just a simple thing is, you know, Starbucks called for 2 years and nobody picked up the phone. And so, but us picking up the phone and making that contact again with them is what bridged that gap and mending that relationship. Because they felt if we weren't going to pick up the phone, they didn't be in our town. So we went through those crucial conversations with them about apologizing and understanding that we were just going through a time of turnover with our directors at that time, from Mr. Baker to Mr. Rodriguez to myself, and got back in those talks and said how Floresville could benefit them. And that's where the branding side of it came in retail. And they said, hey, look, there's 80,000 cars a day that come through here. 32,000 go on the commuter lane to San Antonio and 45,000 come south. How does that comprehend with only 6,200 people at the time, before the census came out? I think 6,400 people. And so they helped us mend that relationship to bring them. If you look at the first bullet point, I will tell you that this company that I'm working with, we were on a five-year plan to bring them to the city of Floresville. Up until last week when we met on Wednesday. And then we have another meeting, a weekly meeting for the next, 2 or 3 weeks. Tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I don't intend to keep you here.
No, I'm saying,
No,
this
I
one,
just want
this one-
general questions that I need answered for me.
yeah,
If the other people need something else, fine.
no, I'm just
But
saying,
again, the thing is, you mean what we have from them, and they package a nice looking little package that says we did this or we do this. Does that ever have any lasting effect or use more than 1 year?
no, because it changes. It changes every month. Every time at the golf course, when they sold 18 houses or 32 houses at the golf course, we have to redo that data. We don't just leave it
And that's understandable.
because it's ever
And
changing.
the other question, maybe a tough question, but then again, we need to answer tough questions too. If we didn't have them, what would be the effect?
This first company right here would not be in Floresville. Because it went from a 5-year plan to where we got on the list to be in a 5-year plan, to they saw the growth, to bring in what we've done, strategic planning with the companies that have come in, to now they're in the process of buying the property and be here within 18 months. Same thing with line item 3, the bullet point. That one has already committed at their national meeting, and they'll be here, that was 2 months ago, they'll be here in 16 months to break ground. And then the other 2 are on the list, and we have meetings with those next week. And then the other 2 on the bottom, as they've already bought properties in Floresville, and one of them we have a meeting set with Andy, hopefully Friday, or I think Friday, we're trying to do a round table to break ground on that project. So,
Anyway, and
yeah.
just to be a little inject a little humor. Get IHOP in here, will you please?
It's on the list.
Yes, it's right here on the bottom. So if you
I
look,
see it.
it's right there. One thing that's not on the list is,
The others you can forget, I just want.
is clothing. Clothing, I think it's Macy's is doing like a 20,000 square foot model store. So, and I think
Well, at some
TJ
point, you're
Maxx.
gonna give us some money figures as to how much it's costing us, right?
It's in the packet. So as you go
Yes.
on the last page, they are not increasing it. Right now, we pay $10,000 a year. We have a line item. It's coming up here in the next few months. So my recommendation to get past the 18 months of bullet point 1 and 2 is to sign them on for extension of 2 years to make sure that those projects.
So it's what you're telling us, and that every year is gonna cost us just as much regardless of what they've done or not done before, right?
Yeah, because they don't raise it. We just keep a flat rate. I think
We have as much to get every year as we got the last year, right?
yes.
Mr. Fred, if you circumvent these guys and the city or AFDC goes out and contacts a broker, that broker's gonna go back to the company where he's from of, if the project is $1 million piece of dirt, you're gonna pay that broker $60,000 out of your pocket. Here you're paying $10,000 for a year and the broker stays with the people he's working for.
You guys know better than I do, so
Yeah.
Let me just-
I'll follow your lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben,
So, yes, sir.
let me make a comment that we make a little video. It was 4 hours that we spent talk with the people that came in to restart life in Austin. So in a fast rush, we make a video, and that video, I condensed it to 20 minutes to save the time, where it shows what Retail Life does for us and how we present it to Retail Life. It's on YouTube. I can send you the link to all of you so you can view what we did and how it's done every time we go. And what happened here is that we call it Retail Life, the secret sauce. And on the first 2 days about the Retail Life secret sauce, YouTube have we went number 2 out of all the top 10 videos in 2 days. And it have over 700 views and over 1,000 hour view in 30 days. So I send you all the link. It's called Retail Life Secret Sauce. It's on YouTube. So you put Roy I Drag, you see it there, and the rest of them in there too. And it was amazing. I was surprised because who want to know about Chick-fil-A or stuff like that, you know? And it turned out to be that other people in the country would like to know from the Economic Development Corporation how we do it, that we have been so successful where they're competing with us and they don't get the business that we get. So it got the nickname of the secret sauce. What they're doing behind it that we cannot get these people to come in when it's a 7,000 population, and city with bigger population cannot get them to move forward to us. So for the new members and for the board member and the council member that were not aware of this because they got elected, please see the video and then you see how we work on that stuff on it. And we didn't prepare to record, but we record the best we could with a cell phone and put all the companies that we saw. So there were over 3,000 people there bumping to each other. You see the camera moving because everybody wanted to get in line to talk to them. And we brought it down to a 20-minute view. So it'd be a good 20-minute view to spend if you want to see it, so you see how the system works. So that's about it.
And I can share the information with y'all another time.
Thank you.
But if you look at the list, I do want to say the last point, if you go from the fourth one from the bottom, that's a company just like PetSmart. They've never put one of their corporate stores in a rural city. And we just, I think, won that bid. I got to get a confirmation email early next week. But if I can get that email, we'll be the first rural community that they put this restaurant in. like they did the PetSmart when they go outside of a big city. It's called Secondary Market. I will forward everyone the article. I've been working with Bill Osborne as well, but secondary market is the way for future development, where they know that after COVID, to expand their business, they need to go into these smaller markets to make their businesses thrive. So we'll be a pilot store and first one ever to go outside of us in the secondary market for them. And that's because of what we've done as a city and as an FEDC to bring PetSmart, to bring Carmen Kidney Health. So that's the first ever Carmen Kidney Health ever made. So as we get these first really city in this area to bring like the Chick-fil-A food truck, those numbers were publicly put out there. When we did the Starbucks in the southeast region of the United States, which is Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, they broke their one-day cash sales out of all 3 states out of our little town of Floresville, a quaint town. And then also with Chili's, with the food truck, they have 23 Chili's food trucks in the nation. In Texas, we're the #1 opening day Chick-fil-A, not Chili's, Chick-fil-A food truck in sales. And the second was, we beat Hondo, and then third is Lavernia. They're still trying to beat Hondo, so I'll put that for the paper for the Lavernia people. So with that being said, my recommendation is from the end of this contract to extend it the 2 more years. We have, as you can see with the list, we have a lot of work to do to get our sleeves rolled up to keep this momentum going, to bring, I would say, everyone on that list, I mean, at least 4 of the 6, is everything the community's requesting if you were to follow social media. It's on the bottom list in secondary market on your list, but as far as the ones that are currently coming in, which we'll be able to say those 6 ones that are going to come in, I follow Floresville Social, and those are all listed on there.
Thank you.
Just to be clear, because it says 10,000 upon project start date, it's the 10,000 per year. They can do multiple projects within that year.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yeah. Like this is well, 6 projects this year, but then they also every year we make them do a branding. We rebrand. So if like Aaron will come down and do a presentation, or Kyle. Normally Kyle comes, and then the board will come. Hey, this is some ideas we want to put toward the branding. He talks about the dash cam. He needs to come, and then we do a monthly cell phone ping of the community just to have that data up to date, because we're growing so fast. I mean, the golf course at one time was 200 houses in less than a year. So we want to make sure that our cell phone stuff comes up. And then I ran a cell phone analysis, emailed them today to run it over the weekend. It kind of helps us. But look, if you're not aware, I know our sales tax this month kind of tapered off a little bit. But Lavernia was working on their HEB, and someone left the breaker box open. The wind and the storm came in, and it fried one of their breakers, and they lost all their frozen food and all their cold food items in the whole store on Mother's Day. So that night and Mother's Day morning, people were coming in to buy their steaks and their stuff. They couldn't sell anything that was cold. So we gathered, I think it was almost 3 times in sales of what they were projected for that day, because people in Lavernia in that area came to Floresville to shop. So kind of ran a ping of that day, so we can put out, hey, this is what we can get to. So it won't be the everyday, but we can tell that story saying, look, something happens. It shows that, hey, they're not driving to Seguin. We're not driving to San Antonio shop. Something happens like that, we got to tell that story, that they're coming to Floresville, and then I can tell that. They'll go, that's why you want to have your stuff here, because people want to come to Floresville. They don't want to go into these big cities. So, well, that's my recommendation there.
Eventually, as the business grow and they move in, then the city by itself will generate it where we won't need it anymore. But we gotta see that even 2 businesses that generate close to $3 million, don't forget that the city gets 2% of that. That money was not here before. So the $10,000 is a fraction of the money that we received through the sales tax.
I like to think that they were a big part of helping us grow and coaching us along the way as well. And not just because their name, but you got to remember when we took over, we were only bringing $780,000 a year in sales tax to the Economic Development Corporation. Last year, we budgeted $1.295 million. So that's $500,000 brought into our budget. That affects the city budget by $1 million a year. That affects our roads by $250,000 more a year, and affects our 4A, which is our event center, by $250,000 more a year. So that's, if you really think about it, working as a team with the city, with us, really helps get that event center where it's not that white elephant or that in the red anymore. It helps get that, but then it gives us the capability, we're gonna have to put so much money in the city and the roads that now we're partnering to help with the parks like we did last week and improve our parks. So it's part of that big cycle.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the retail coach contract terms.
I have a motion by Leanna,
Second.
a second by Roy. Any citizens' comments?
Oh, I think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
With discussion, I will note though, to work on that rubric that we talked about last week. So as we circle back around, that's in effect moving forward.
One quick question, though. What do you think the increase in sales tax revenue is due to? Is it prices going up or more people buying?
I think more people come, more houses, more people coming, that move into the area.
But it's a combination.
Right.
It's oh yeah, some of it is inflation, I'm not gonna lie. Some of it's probably, yeah.
Sorry, when is that, I know you're extending the contract, but when does it originally end?
Oh, it ends at the end, in January 23rd, 2024.
24, so there'll be 2 years after
Yes,
that.
it'll go from 24 to 26.
26, January, okay, thank
It
you.
starts annually. We're about 5 months away, but as we move forward, it also helps me to build that relationship with these brokers. So I can say, look, they're going to be with us the whole way through. That's one of the concerns they may have too. Is they were like, and I don't use it as like, but they were like, are they going to be here along the way? Now I can show the stability to help our town continue to grow as they are going to be along with the brokers. Because there's a lot of questions that I don't know, the board doesn't know, that we learned along the way too.
Yeah, well, those guys know if they have a great contract with us, you know, they have some long-range plans. They can reach out to things that are a little more difficult, rather than say, well, I'm out of here in 5 months, so I can't put that together. So I think with this being said, that they're going to the meetings in Vegas, and then after that, they'll be one in Austin. You know, having them go to bat for us at that particular, those facilities, knowing that they're here for a while, I think your results are going to be really, really well.
And it isn't just a small business. I will put it out there. Like we go to the shopping strip centers conference for us, so they how to bring more shopping strip centers into town, and they do also the industrial conference for us. That's in Las Vegas, so they'll do. So I can work on. That's our next big goal, is trying to bring in a light industrial with our business park, 10 acres we have. So they're helping us market to bring in that company that's going to bring 50, 100 jobs, that you don't have to have a high school diploma. You can go get a trade or just have a high school diploma and work somewhere and make $60,000, $70,000 a year. You don't have to worry about the oil field. So when that oil field goes up and down, we have that steady jobs here in Floresville. That's our big goal right now.
Will we be able to get a list of those businesses coming?
Yeah, we're Shannon Galvanizing.
That's right.
I don't want to flood you with questions, but when does this become public knowledge? Like, what businesses are coming? When can people look forward to hearing that?
Andy will share it with y'all, but I can kind of give you a heads up tonight.
Just
whenever that business, we sign a confidentiality agreement, y'all will sign one as the city as well. And so whenever they come, I think something as big as, like, say, Starbucks, 2 years, it took us almost, within the 2 years, it probably took us 12 months before we could even say it was Starbucks. Like, we even got to a point, like, where we could put up a sign. They couldn't even put Starbucks. They just had to have the shape of the cup and the lettering, just so it was a sign was saying coming soon. So the other two, they'll be able to announce here pretty soon.
But can you announce any of these? Do you have any?
I can tell you Wendy's is going to come. Yeah, I've talked to Terry Maxey. I'll put it out there.
That's right.
We have a meeting. I wanted to shore the meeting up with Lyle, Lisa, and Andy, but Mr. Maxey doesn't mind me sharing it. I was on the phone with him today. He bought the Exxon, so he owns a lot of Exxons, and I think it's his 8th Wendy's is going to open. So I know you're going to hear it. I'll say it to the thing. I'm not going after the burger joint. He just happened to buy the Wendy's, and he owns, the Exxon, because he owns Exxon's, and then he owns like 8 Wendy's now. So he's opening up another store. I will tell you, I'm gonna let him tell you that some of the stuff they're bringing here, it'll be the first ever Wendy's of this nature in Texas. Like the size, the motto, what they're coming out with, they'll be the first one in Texas. I'm really excited. I have those pictures in my office. Gonna take a look at
How about the other 5?
No, not yet.
Do we have confidential? I haven't seen a confidential agreement with
No,
them.
but I will.
Not with.
It'll be
I
good.
understand that that gets compromised, right, not by anybody here, but, you know, you got the guy on social media that stalks the.
Yeah, he stalks the state page that they turn it in. So what happens there, you'll see it. That's not us. We can't stop it.
No, yeah.
Publicly, he stalks the state page. So when they turn in their permits to the state for the comptroller, that they're going to build this building for tax purposes and stuff, he just screenshots it, and
I'm just saying, I hope you're letting them know that
No, I do.
that's out there, so they
Oh, I
don't
screenshot
think
it so
that.
they know it's not coming from us.
Exactly.
Yeah, like for example, I can share, I couldn't put it the other day when I made the post on La Tapatia, right? They're coming in front of Dollar Tree. I can say it now because I talked to them on the phone, and they were like, you know, we really don't want to say it, and all of a sudden I sent the screenshot, we'll go ahead and tell people they already know. You know, it's like, why are you not listening to the people? I said, well, I am listening. We are listening to people. The city and us are listening, but I can't control like freedom of wanting to, entrepreneurship. And that's what they want to do. Now, when they buy it, we're going to help them grow because they're going to be our family members. What I'm most happy about is that what he does for community, he brings in, he doesn't just develop the La Tapatia, like he bought 2 acres from the EDC, and that's public knowledge, and he's building 5 fourplexes. So now we're going to have 20 affordable living rentals for single parents, for police officers, for teachers, for the needs that we have a shortage and a slippage in. And so really excited about that. That'll be over there on Lone Oak Drive.
Now, if you're going north on 181, the red light just before you get on 37, immediately to your right, that's a Tapatia, and usually puts a meat market as well.
And they have a bakery.
And so that, so you notice that's next to it.
But now I'm gonna have to go to the gym, then go get a taco.
Yeah, well, I could tell you, like, without saying it, but if there's a La Tapatia, a Hispanic style restaurant, you're probably gonna most likely have that next.
And I noticed that we have a lot of eating
Yeah.
places here, and that's okay. There's a couple here like Academy and Big Lots and so on. What about the?
But you're not supposed to say the names of the places.
You weren't supposed to say those yet, Fred.
But let me finish. Okay.
But it's already out there, so
What
okay.
about a heavy duty like Home Depot or something like that, or is there any prospect?
So I can tell you, Home Depot, not really. I mean, you never know. I wouldn't say no because look, I play football with a guy in Seguin, and his dad, he's a police officer, and his dad bought and sold land, and we were in football. He's like, oh, my dad's bringing a Home Depot in Seguin. I said, you're out there, man. I won't say on the camera. I said, you're not gonna do it. Man, by 3 years later, by the time we graduated playing football, we had a Home Depot and right there in Seguin. It was a level C. So I won't tell you, like, I put it out there. I'll tell people we send stuff with Retail Life to Red Lobster. Red Lobster has a Schedule C rural development plan they're trying to do. So we're not shooting. We're shooting for the stars. We're Red Lobster, the Olive Gardens. We're courting everyone.
Eating places, okay.
But as far as places to go,
Academy, that sounds good.
yeah.
I like that, stuff, but we need to intersperse other than just.
And we're working with people like, there's a company up north that does like things for kids, like where they have like a batting cages. They went into a small community, but what happened was the EDC had to really think outside the box. We tell the story like Burnt Bean, for example. Burnt Bean, the way the city of Seguin did it to develop their downtown, they went and paid for their pits, $50,000 for him. He's like, look, if you make this money back for so many years, we're gonna wipe this debt clean, but if not, we're gonna extend it till you get the sales tax. Well, he's paid that off in like 2 or 3 years, right? The debt to it. The same thing with this town up north, I really don't wanna tell who we're working with, but they went out and bought a 10-acre tract of land. Owner financed it to this gentleman, and he's on his third like family center, kind of like the green with the Green Acres on 87. It has indoor carts. It's got laser tags, it's got games, and so he comes into these rural areas I'll send y'all the video link. But economic development with the city have to know that we have to go in and plan a little bit of money to market our town of why that entertainment center, I'll show you the video of why it should be here. It's like, this is why Floresville Economic Development wants you here. And they went out and said, this is why we want you here. And they did the video, sent it to the community, kind of like we did the video of the downtown business plaza. And we got that letter today. I could announce it with the fund, not the amount, but the funding that'll be approved in December 22nd to pay for the whole business plaza project. So instead of piecemealing that project together over 2-3 years and put it in the city in debt, we're going to have the funds to pay for it. And that's what people see and spur interest in our town. So.
And another question, you know, like we have the industrial park over there, we've got some companies that are coming in, hopefully still coming in.
Oh, yes, sir.
And giving us some good paying jobs. Do you ever see any of those in here?
Oh, no, that's industrial list with Shannon Galvanize and I'll update.
Isn't it something that helps the town in
Oh.
many ways?
Yes, it does, because.
More so than these, right?
Oh, yeah, because like, for example, we sent Shannon Galvanizing, I think it was 65
You're
employees.
talking more jobs, higher paying jobs,
Mhm.
and then sales that bring money, infuse
Correct.
money into the city.
Yeah, just like, right now, we still have to do a run cut in at Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And how that 45 jobs that it's created now that's fully open
That's what
now.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, but thank y'all.
Any more questions or comments? If no,
Anything else?
that wraps it up, huh?
That's done.
That's it. Go ahead. Lily, will you read that, please?
Yes, sir. Item number 3, the FEDC Board of Directors will now go into executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, under subsection A pursuant to Section 551074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate about personnel matters. FEDC Executive Director and pursuant to Section 551074 of the Texas Government Code, deliberating about personal matters, the FEDC Assistant, and then they will return from executive session, possibly to take action. I will need a motion, a second, and a vote, and the time, please.
I so move.
Thank you, sir.
Motion by Mr. Fred. Second? Anybody?
Roy.
Oh, I second it?
Yes.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes at 6:49.
Thank you, sir.
And